Hi crafters, and welcome to my series. So I would say this is going to be day 7 because it is day 7 of my series. And we've been making a tag each and every day, and we've been opening up the 2025 Stampin' Up's Crafting Advent Calendar. But today, because we're not making a tag, we're going to be making a box. I'm not going to be opening up day 7 of the Crafting Advent Calendar because I want to do the rest of the days with the next set of 6 tags that I will be doing. So today we're just going to work on the box that's going to hold the first 6 days of tags. And if you're not familiar with any of this, you can go back and watch day 1 of my series, and I have the playlist in the description box and at the end of this video if you want to go back and catch up to find out what I'm doing. So here are the first tags that I created. There's day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So today we're going to make the box to hold these cute little tags, which will be a great gift for anybody. Okay, and we've been using the Penguin Playmates Designer Series paper that I have tons of. And just a reminder that if you want to get your name entered into the drawing for possibly winning one of these paper packs, because I'm giving 2 away in this first set of tags, then as I create the next set of tags, I'll be picking out a different paper pack and I will be giving that away. And we will have a different hashtag. But if you want to try to win the Penguin Playmates, then you just need to comment on any of the videos, including today, and also include in your comment hashtag Penguin. Okay, so now let's get started on the box. So I was doing a little sample of it. And one thing I noticed that when I was doing this, normally when you use this envelope punch board, you normally follow the score lines, but that did not work for me. I could tell right away that it wasn't working the way I liked it. And you can tell because, like, if you was to put this down, you can see, well, it was just a little uneven. Because see, if you, I don't know if you can tell, but I mean, this is a little lower than this. So I don't know if you can really tell. So I didn't like doing it that way. So we're going to do it just by the measurements. So as long as you line up your paper in the same place on the 2 and the 4 inch that we're going to be doing for this box, then you should be okay. So I wouldn't use this score guide when you turn the paper. That's just my suggestion. You can give it a try. It didn't work for me because I noticed that when I followed the score guide here, I noticed that it wasn't right on the score line. So that's why I decided to stick with the measurements. So I'm going to first start off by lining up this left edge here at 2, and I'm going to punch, and then let me get my, I should have got that out first because now I moved it, but we're going to punch it and then score. Then we're going to move it down to the 4 inch, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to punch and score. And then we're going to continue to do that on the next 2 sides. So we're just going to turn it, and then we're going to continue to do that. And then we'll do something different on that last side. So I'm just going to continue to do this until I get the next 2 sides done. Okay, so now we are on the last side, and on this side we're going to do it at 2 and punch, but we're not going to score it. So we'll put that away, and then we're just going to line it up at 2, punch, and then line it up at 4 and punch. Okay, so now we are done with the punch board. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in my paper trimmer because we need to cut off this part here that does not have a score line across it. See if you notice this one has a score line across it and this top one doesn't. That's the one we need to cut off. So we're going to line up both of these edges here right into that cutting track. And then once we get it lined up, we can go ahead and cut that off. So there we go. Now we're going to bring in our paper snips and we're going to cut up down here at the bottom. We're going to cut up this score line and this score line. And we're going to cut from the bottom here right up to the next score line. And I'm doing it right on top of the scored line. So there's our first one. And there's our second one. And then now we just need to burnish and fold all our score lines. Okay, so now we need to put adhesive because these two little flaps that we cut, they're going to go on the inside, which will then help create the bottom of the box. So you can use tear and tape. I think I'm going to use both tear and tape and glue, just so that, because I noticed when I was using the glue, I had to really hold it there in place until it dried. And so I just want to make sure this part is really secure. So I'm going to put a couple pieces of tear and tape on those little panels. And then I'll go ahead and also add glue. And then this part is just a matter of making sure that you line it up. So let me add my glue here. You just want to make sure it's lined up square. That one doesn't seem to be coming out, so let's go ahead and pull in this glue. Okay, hopefully this will come out. There we go. Okay, so now when we put that under, you just make sure that this edge, this straight edge right there, is going to line up with that scored line there. There we go. That's all you do. And then make sure that you push it down, and if you want to use your bone folder to help crease that down. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. It's so awkward to try to do this on camera where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just going to line up that straight edge with that scored line right there. There we go. Okay. And then make sure that that's adhered nicely. Okay, so now it's just a matter of gluing this. Now, some videos that I've watched, they glue this on the outside, and you could do that, but I don't want to take the chance of seeing an unevenness there. But we're really not going to see a lot of that because we're going to decorate it. And probably what I should have done first is I wanted to put a piece of designer paper here on the back side. So let me go ahead and, did I already cut that or did I not? I didn't. So let me go ahead and cut that. And then, because I wanted to cut that, and I'll come back and tell you what I cut it at. Okay, so I'm using this designer paper in that pack because I hadn't used this one on any of the tags, and I really wanted to use it because I think it's so pretty. So this is the piece that I want to decorate the back part, and you would probably want to do that before you glue it down like I did, but we're going to make it work. So this is cut at 2 1/8 this way and 3 1/2 this way, and then we're going to decorate the front of the box with this piece, which is 1 1/2 inches by, I think I made mine 8. If I'm correct, yes, I made it 8 because I wanted it a little longer, so when I wrap it around the box, it'll work out nicely. So let's go ahead and get this glued in. So there's that. And now we're going to go ahead and glue this part, and I'm going to glue it this way. So what I'm going to do is put glue. I guess I could use a little tear and tape just to make sure. So let's put a little tear and tape down this side right here. Right there, I have it right there. If you can see, it's really hard to see white on white. And I'll do that to this side as I get ready. When I'm ready for that, it'll already be there. Okay, so now let's do one side at a time. Take that off, and I'm just gonna put glue right along this bottom part and right over that tape, like that. And then what I did was this block, I put it in because it seemed to be about the width, just to help me square it up, because I was having a hard time squaring it up. So this kind of gave me a guide. So there, I just wanted to make sure it was squared up and not totally off. So that's why I did that. You don't have to do that if you can just eyeball it like that to make sure it's squared up. So now let's just do this other side. Again, I'm just going to add adhesive down that side there. I don't know if you can see it. I did it down there and right there. And again, I'm going to try to square it up, but I like putting this in there. It helps me. So whatever helps you is the way you need to do it. It helps me line it up. Okay. And then I'm just going to, it looks pretty square there. So I'm just going to help it along there by pressing in there. Okay. So there's our box. Now it's just a matter of decorating it. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start from the back, and I'm going to put either side down the middle. So let's start it with this side, I think. I'm just going to eyeball it for the middle, and I'm going to just start wrapping it around. And when I do that, I'm going to kind of pinch it so that I know where I want my creases to be. And then I'm just going to keep doing that as I go around. And then when we get to the back, you'll see that this part is overlapping on the top, this part right here, but I want this part to be on the top, and see, because that's where I centered it. So I'm just going to make sure that I adhere this part underneath. And look at how well that turned out. It lined up even with the color. I don't know if I could have planned that. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do, is glue that down. So we'll start with that piece. And because I have it kind of already scored with my fingers, I'll just go ahead and put some tear and tape there on that edge. And then add some glue, because I want to make sure it adheres nicely. Okay, let's pull that off and add some glue. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is figure out where I want it on the front before I completely glue it down. I want it to be right about just with a little border. I think right there would be nice. So then I'll just follow that around and glue it down. It's always so hard. Maybe that's why I like the block. It's always so hard when you're trying to push down on something when there's nothing underneath it, right? Okay. So now you can either add adhesive to all of it and glue it down, or just the back part, whatever. I kind of want it, all of it, because I want it to lay flat. So I'm just going to add adhesive on the entire piece. And then start to wrap it around. Okay, I think we've got it. So now what I did was I went ahead and out of that, one of the papers in the paper pack is this one. It has this penguin here, right? And it matches the punch that came with that. So I just went ahead and punched out a little penguin, and that's going to go on the front. And then I'm going to get a sentiment and get that stamped and cut. And then I'll, when I get that all done, I'll just decorate it in fast forward like I've been doing the tags. And then we'll come back to see what it looks like in the end. Okay, there it is, all decorated. Now, I don't know if I think I forgot to tell you that when we started off creating the box, I'm using the same paper that I was using on the tags, the Silent Snowfall paper. I used that and I cut it to 6 by 6. That's what the size was before we put it into the envelope board to start doing our cutting and scoring. So then this part, I already told you how I got the little penguin guy. And then the sentiment comes from this set that was bundled with it called Snow Place. And I really liked the one that said Snow Way. It's Christmas already, but I couldn't get it to fit across. So what I did was I stamped it twice. First in the Just Jade, which is the color in the paper, and then another time in Misty Moonlight. And then I took this die right here that comes from this Happy Little Things, and I die cut out the It's Christmas Already, and then I just from the Misty Moonlight, and then on the other one I just cut out with my paper snips the Snow Way, and then put that down there. But there it is. I think it is so cute. So now let's go ahead and put in our tags. And we only made 6, and it looks like you could probably, I mean, that's how it looks in the box. So you probably could put 8 with the amount of dimension that I put on my tags. If you make them flat, you probably could get 10. But I like it. I think it's cute, and I think it's going to be a great gift. So there it is. And that goes to show you how many's in there. Okay, well, there we go. There is our box and our first set of 6 tags. But see, that's why I was worried, because remember in some of the videos I would talk about, was afraid that if it hung off too much, if it was going to interfere with the box. And it could, because if you see this one, that banner, you don't want to hang off too much off your tag, because that one's still good. It's just barely reaching the edges of the box. So just keep that in mind. Alrighty, there we go. I hope you enjoyed this first set of tags in this box. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments also, and I will try to help you with that. Alrighty, well, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can show me your joy by giving this video a thumbs up. Okay, well, until my next video, have fun crafting, everyone. And remember, choose joy, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye.